In this video is the best of 3 I played against the Illusion Sarcophagus deck. Now this was a crazy back and forth. It was an intense best of 3 game, and so expect some crazy illusion things to pop off, chimera things to pop off, crazy absurd chain link, and finally showing off the Sarcophagus package. And so with that being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the duel. This is Illusion Sarcophagus versus Rescue Ace. So immediately Hydrant gets ashed. We do get the emergency, we managed to hard draw it. So now we can do the Rescue Ace combo. We do get to search an alert because we have Hydrant, we search Turbulence. Turbulence kind of special, and we can set 4. Now the opponent doesn't have Imperm or Veiler, so we're loving it, and we get to end on an IP Masquerena. So Impulse in the hand, you can obviously see an Ultimate Slayer as well. The opponent has a Patchwork, which I think works really well with the Chimera package. Obviously at the moment in the meta, Chimera is taking over, and so I thought this was a perfect video to show you guys how busted this archetype is. And yeah, in Age of Overlord as well, how insane we can expect Chimera to be. Let's watch the replay. He does do a Berfomet. I managed to hit them with the Contain to stop it, but he does a chain link for a Chimera fusion to dodge the Contain. We do chain link 5 emergency because we're preemptively getting ready for whatever the opponent is bringing out, and then we do a chain link 6 extinguish to pop the Berfomet. So at least Guardian Chimera doesn't make an appearance on the field, which will be really tricky for us to deal with. Let's resolve this crazy chain link right now. So yeah, Berfomet gets popped. He does get his effect off because he dodges the Contain. Because he was popped, he still has to resolve Chimera fusion, bring out Phantom Beast, and then the rest of the chain happens. So yeah, look at this crazy advantage you're seeing right now on the field. I love that we did this. Okay, we used Rescue to rescue ourselves from the Mirror Swordsman negation by stealing it, and that means he cannot use it to negate monster effect. Super clutch and definitely comes into play. Again, so many chainings happening. The Chimera deck feels like an infinite, well, in this replay it feels like an infinite engine with infinite resources, but we do manage to still take him out. And there we go, we hit them with the Underworld of the Goddess. They're turning off the negation, the targeting prevention, but he does bring out the brand new Illusion monster. So if this card is fusion summoned, you can send a Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monster to the graveyard. This works in Tri Brigade, and why Tri Brigade is going to get even more popular because you can now send any Beast or Fiend monster. This monster is going to bridge a lot of Beast and Fiend archetypes because you can now trigger something when you send it to the graveyard. Amazing for the Tri Brigade deck, and honestly, that might be a tier 1 deck in the future with Age of Overlord as well. And so during your opponent's turn, you can banish the card from your graveyard, get a banished Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monster, and then you special summon it. You can bring back the banished Tri Brigade monsters. That is his end board as he's going second. Now, he does have a Chimera Fusion set, so this isn't all he's going to do. We do recognize that this counts as Chimera the Mythful Beast, so we want to book him in it so he doesn't have the negation. We force the negation right now. The opponent's graveyard still has the targeting prevention and the monster negation, which is super annoying. So nothing about Illusion and the Chimera deck is you just have the infinite negations as well as putting bodies on board is really annoying. Back to our turn now. We do have a Turbulence and an Ultimate Slayer, 2 perfect cards to beat the Chimera strategy, as they can't really respond to monster effects. So we do stop the Illusion from specialing, and then we get to, use the Ultimate Slayer, but he chains a spell card, and so because he chained a spell card, we now have to respond with a Contain. Because we have Hydra on the field, Berfomet can't use as fusion material. That's great. Again, we've been stopping Guardian Chimera so much during this whole duel. That's basically all we're trying to do, but he does stop it with the Cornfield because it's a targeting effect. But he doesn't bring out Chimera because he doesn't have enough materials. Instead, the opponent summons Magnum the Reliever. It has a quick effect as well to pop a monster on the field. And so that's another pesky interaction we have to deal with. But luckily for us, we do have the Entis. But now he's doing even more stuff here because he's going to be able to spread some of the Mirror Swords Knight, bring out Berfomet, I believe, get that advantage going as well. Let's see how we end the board here. Again, Turbulence, we get to set 2 cards. If it goes back to the opponent, we most likely lose, because how much engine is in his hand. Turbulence goes off successfully, giving us emergency and the reinforce. Reinforce, you don't normally play Rescue Ace, although you really just do a link climb into access code toolkart and then the opponent surrenders. So that was a pretty jam-packed game versus the Chimera archetype. Let's move on to game number 2. The opponent gets to go first, and we get to see exactly what they're going to do. They drew a ton of engine, as you've seen in game 1. Berfomet is going to search them Chimera Fusion and I believe a Gazelle. Bring out the original Chimera. Send a card from my hand to the graveyard, which, by the way, a hand rip on such an easy monster is honestly really funny, and I'm surprised this exists, but hey, that's Yu-Gi at the moment. This plus, I guess, the Beast of Despair Omega hand rip for 2, meaning the opponent will have nothing left to play with, and I may have just started a crazy cult deck at the moment where you can hand rip people and make it really easy. This is just typical Chimera stuff. You've seen it all before. This archetype is taking over the TCG at the moment, and I'm genuinely concerned how we're supposed to beat it. Obviously, Drawn Lockbird hurts the deck quite a lot, and so the opponent ends the board with Chimera the Illusion Magical Beast. This is an Illusion monster, so it can't really take it out by battle because it counts as Chimera the Mythical Beast. They have a negation in targeting prevention and monster effect negation, and they've already ripped out a Pot of Prosperity, which you could say is the most important card for me to have going second. So already it's not looking good for us. So we draw Turbulence, which is pretty nice, saves us from having to search it, saves us from basically losing this turn if we do get to stay off. Let's do Emergency, let's bring out the Hydrant, we tribute the Fire Attacker. Because we have Hydrant on the field, we can search with Alert and bring out a monster. Now, I feel like I misplayed here because I should have done the search with Hydrant and then do the Alert. At the same time, me not doing it now means if I were to bring it back, I can do the search. So let's see how this unfolds here. The opponent brings out a Guardian Chimera, which we prevented a lot in game 1. For game 2, they are bringing it out. They are doing, I believe, a draw 2 pop 1. Yeah, a draw 2 pop 1. So they're going to get some nice advantage here. Luckily, we searched the Impulse. That is our normal summon because we special with Emergency. Let's continue. We get to negate something, but Swordsman stops that. We get to summon the Turbulence and set the 4 card. If they had Effect Veiler, I would scoop my things and leave my house. Luckily, they don't have that. So we can continue the replay. So in the battle phase, yeah, again with Illusion, they're able to special bring out Berfomet. We tag out into Fire Engine, noticing that's going to happen. And that's pretty nice because now we do, I believe, get our Hydrant on the field. Yep, there's our Hydrant. So now our back row is even set up. I don't know if they have the Cornfield. Okay, looks like they didn't have the Cornfield monster. Let's go to the replay, and then Turbo's going to clean up a little bit of the board. Now Chimera is 3300. They will soon have a polymerization on their field, and I feel like I'm going to get clowned in the comments for this, but I was testing Decode Talker instead of Proxy and Muddragon, and you know what? The attack piece actually came in clutch here. I believe the opponent was forced to negate it somehow. Yeah, that was something I was testing. I'm not running it anymore, but you know, it was nice to see on the field at least for the first time ever. So there we go. The opponent has like 50 cards in their hand. They add, well, they are 51 now. And there we go, guys, for running Sarcophagus. So what this card can do, I believe 4 times per turn, it can discard a card to Foolish Burial a Sarcophagus monster. And so each of the Sarcophagus monsters can just freely special themselves from the graveyard if you control Pharaonic Sarcophagus. I am concerned about how splashable they are, how they don't really lock you into anything, and how it's a crazy 4 monster rank 8 package. Let's continue the replay. And you know, because of the hand advantage he has from the Chimera archetype, you're really seeing the synergy with Sarcophagus, giving you so much ammo to discard. We're about to see it right now. He sends, this is the main one, I believe, Isepti or something like that. No, so he summons Queben Hef. These names are really difficult to pronounce. But yeah, because he did summon a monster, Fire Engine gets to special from deck. Having Hydra on the field will give us Contain. We get to follow on with the Chain Links here. Bring out a Preventer. You love to see it. Doing another Guardian Chimera. And so that's something else I didn't mention, is this Sarcophagus package gives fuel for the Guardian Chimera. Just a lot of things happening at the moment. I'm surprised I even managed to survive this long anyway. But it's the opponent's turn as well, so yep, there we go. They do summon a pretty cool rank 8 to start off with, a Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. So I believe in the battle phase, Tachyon will get an attack boost. So we're going to see this now. He detaches, and yeah, everything on the field gets negated. That's a pretty good effect. Again, for a splashable engine. Setting up the Zeus, by the way, you don't even have a hand to rip, so the opponent is just styling on us right now. But that does mean he gets to trigger the other Illusion Chimera monsters. When they use as material, they get to do things. And then Zeus, he gets to summon Zeus because an Extreme monster attack. So yeah, there is no way we're going to break this board. And so we have to surrender that game. And then let's move on to game 3, where let's hopefully try and beat the Sarcophagus Chimera deck. Although it looks really difficult now, seeing just how powerful both those engines work together. And so in this one, we're siding Judgment to be the evenly matched. Obviously, Airlifter is the 1-card combo for Rescue Ace. The opponent doesn't seem to have any negation in his hand, so we're pretty much ready to go. And we don't have to worry about anything like a Book of Moon, sorry, Effect Veiler, or a Impermanence. Although, of course, if that does happen, keep in mind, you can always have something like Book of Moon in your deck to stop stuff. And so that is our end board. Pretty decent. You know, we have Hydrant activating all of our trap cards to have crazy effects. We have Ivy Masquerena ready for a Unicorn or an Appaloosa or a Underworld of the Goddess. And a Preventer being super annoying, although as a fusion deck, I don't know how good Preventer is really going to be. Let's find out exactly what the opponent is going to do. Yep, so we do hit the Patchwork. Unfortunately, the opponent has so much engine in his hand already. Mirror Swordsman gets to bring out Berfomet. Berfomet searches 2 cards, which is so insane. And he already has the Chimera Fusion, which is really funny. But we do have the Solemn Judgment for it. We recognize how good Chimera Fusion is with Force of Judgment in it. The second he has a card on the field as well, that turns off evenly matched. And so that's our main concern gone. Let's continue the replay here. And there we go. There is the start of the Horus Engine. And so we're just continuing on here. Airlift is going to draw 2, discard 1. And then here he activates Pharaonic Sarcophagus. We do a Book of Moon before we link summon away. We do Nightmare Phoenix. We recognize how good the Sarcophagus card is. Crazy back and forth between the Chimera deck and Rescue Ace. The amount of stuff they can get away with because of all this negation they set up, obviously popping off like crazy in the TCG at the moment with regionals. You know, it gives a lot of decks in the game now, a Nibiru counter and a Imperm Veiler counter. And that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.